What separates you from a person who commits a crime or even takes a life? You probably think the answer is simple: morality, upbringing, choices. But neuroscience and psychology have been quietly building a very different answer. And once you understand it, the way you see other people, and even yourself, will never be quite the same. This video is not about glorifying crimes or criminals. It is about understanding the psychological and neurological conditions that drive human beings to their darkest actions, because understanding this is the first step to prevention. In 2000, a neuroscientist named James Fallon was studying brain scans of psychopaths and murderers, looking for patterns: low activity in the orbital cortex, reduced connections in the areas responsible for empathy, impulse control, and moral decision-making. Then he accidentally compared his own brain scans to others. His brain, a Harvard researcher, a husband, a father, looked identical to the scans of the criminal he was studying. The difference, he later concluded, was not in the biology alone. It was in what happened to him during childhood versus what happened to them. This is the central question of criminal psychology. Is it nature, or is it what life does to nature? Research on over 4,000 convicted criminals found one pattern that appeared in nearly every case: early childhood trauma, abuse, neglect, witnessing violence, growing up in environments where the nervous system was in constant state of threat. When a child's brain develops under chronic stress, the amygdala, the brain's threat detection center, becomes hypersensitive. The prefrontal cortex, responsible for empathy, consequences, and impulse control, develops more slowly or incompletely. The result is a person who perceives threat everywhere, feels emotions intensely, and has significantly less internal braking power when those emotions escalate. This does not excuse what they do, but it explains how a human being who once was a child gets there. Psychologists have identified a personality cluster called the Dark Triad. 3 traits that, when combined, significantly increase the risk of antisocial and criminal behavior: narcissism, an inflated sense of self and a belief that normal rules do not apply to you; Machiavellianism, a calculated willingness to manipulate others without guilt to get what you want; psychopathy, reduced empathy, shallow emotional responses, and a high tolerance for risk. Here is what makes this disturbing. Studies show that mid-version of these traits exist on a spectrum, and researchers estimate that roughly 12 to 15% of the general population scores meaningfully high on at least one of them. These people are not all criminals. Most of them function in society. Many of them thrive in competitive environments like business and politics. The difference between someone who uses these traits in a boardroom and someone who uses them in a far darker way often comes down to the environment they were shaped by. So what does this mean for you? It means that human behavior, even at its most extreme, is not random. It is patterned. It is shaped by biology, by trauma, by environment, and by the presence or absence of one person who showed someone they mattered. Studies constantly shows that a single stable, caring relationship in childhood can interrupt even the most at-risk development path. One person. Understanding criminal psychology is not about understanding the criminals. It is about understanding the conditions that produces them, and recognizing that those same conditions exist in families, schools, and communities around us right now. The brain that commits a crime was once a brain that just needed something it never got. Follow Mindshift Blueprint for more psychology that explains the part of human nature most people are afraid to look at. And tell me in the comments, does understanding why someone does something changes how you feel about what they did?